Welcome, everyone. Episode 48 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. We're 2 away from 50.
Almost there.
We got to do something special for 50. I don't know what we're going to do. We need to brainstorm.
I was thinking about that actually earlier. I was like, do we do a big giveaway? Like, we got to think of something.
People freak out over giveaways.
I know. They love giveaways.
We'll give them one free overgrip.
I'll sign it.
And it'll be worth something.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it. But yeah, dude, I'm actually really pumped about today's episode. So we did some testing this week with the budget paddles, and like I haven't done this. I've never done this. Just went and hit a bunch of budget paddles and just kind of compared them side by side. Had some premium paddles with us. I've done that a little bit here and there, but never like as much as we did. And there are some pretty good paddles.
Oh yeah. Let's clarify this. So normally we do the pop and power test. This time we actually play tested them. So it was more of like a feel of the paddle versus.
Yeah, we didn't even do the testing. We just played and just kind of said, these are the ones that stood out. These are the ones I liked. So that'll be really fun. We got that. We got Kyle's Corner today. We finally got some juice.
A little bit.
We got a little bit of juice.
Some emails floating around and lots of reactions to that email.
And then, those will be our two main topics today. And then we have some water cooler stuff we'll head off first. But let's give a shout out to our title sponsor, C&D.
C&D nets. Awesome nets. Bomb proof. I've said before, these things 10-year warranty. If you run into them, they don't fall over. Well, they might fall over, but they're not going to break. Like, I'll post a picture.
Would it fall over? I don't think it would.
I mean, if you like ran into it at full sprint, like it would probably just tip over.
Okay.
But I have a photo of a competitor's net that actually just like snapped from a lady trying to brace herself on the net.
That's crazy.
Similar price range too.
Wow. Okay. So, are you going to put it up?
I'll put it up.
All right.
I might blur out the
brand.
the name of the brand.
You still tell it.
We'll call it Brand X. Just saying that inferior product at the same price.
Yeah, super thankful to these guys. C&D Nets. There's no question that they're the best net out there. Someday I'm going to have my own private court in my backyard, and it's going to have a C&D net.
Are we going to go temporary, or are we going to go surface mount?
I'm going to do surface mount. When we say temporary, I don't want people to think that these are like flimsy temporary. Like temporary just means it has wheels.
Yeah. So sorry.
Steel coffins last week.
Semi-permanent.
Yeah.
What a lot of people call them.
Yeah. That's a better description. But yeah, if you are having your own private court, or if you're involved with a facility or anywhere that has courts, then you are involved with setting them up. Look up C&D Nets. Use code PEPOD for a discount. Mm-hmm. There's no other way to go.
If you're doing a facility, you can actually call them, tell them we sent you, and they'll work out a deal with you for bulk orders as well. So like if you're opening 6-7 courts, they will cut you a deal on bulk orders.
Nice.
So,
well, there we go. Thanks to C&D Nets for sponsoring. And then I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who supported and bought the PE paddle. So as of like a couple days ago, there was like a handful of the 14s left. We sold out of the 16s. And we raised $15,000 for the AJU Foundation. It's incredible. Really, really cool. Big thank you to everyone. It means a lot to me and my family. One nice thing about this is like my parents manage the foundation, and like we know the money came in. Like there's no question as if the money actually went to some like random foundation. Mm-hmm. And so the money came in. They're going to start using it. And so they'll use it to build these care packages for families, individuals battling cancer, and kind of to honor and remember my little brother. But seriously, everyone, thank you so much for your support. It was such a cool experience building that with Volair. Big thank you to Volair. Like they put a lot of effort into the design, and they donated so much money. Like they did not have to do any of that, and it was just really, really cool of them. So big thank you to Volair as well. Now, I wasn't going to share this, but I just thought of this. I was reading through some of the comments of like the reviews on Volair's site. Mm-hmm. And there was one that was like really cool. I'm going to pull it up real quick and read it because I thought it was special.
While you pull it up, I was going to say, I actually saw, I think 3 of the PE paddles yesterday at Flying Pickle being played with.
Yeah, there's been a few. It's fun for like those locally who've picked one up. And they're playing with them. They actually really like the paddle.
Yeah. Mine's still in the box in the wrapper. I'm just keeping it in the closet.
Yeah, you're not a fat boy.
It'll be worth some money someday.
Yeah,
or it won't.
That's the dream. So I'm gonna read this one. Okay. So it says, after watching, blah, 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 I was convinced the paddles for me. I have an abundance of paddles. But it says, the reason I ordered 2 of these Effect Edition paddles, one for a friend and one for me, is because I wanted to honor my wife, who recently passed away from cancer. Every time I play pickleball, I think of my beautiful and amazing wife, and this paddle gives me that opportunity since the proceeds of the sales go to help patients with cancer. Anyways, I'm sure that's not the only one, but cancer is just so prevalent in the community. And anyways, that one.
Got some sand in my eye.
I'm
a softie.
I was feeling it right there. Anyways, it was super cool. And I know that they're not the only ones. Cancer sucks. I love what my family's doing with the foundation, and miss my brother like crazy. Anyways, that was really cool. And I'm remember this for a long time. Definitely kind of I don't know, just like a pillar for, I feel like, what I've done with Pickleball Effect. And it's so cool to be able to use the platform to do that and to have everyone rally behind it. Really, really cool. And then last item before we jump into Kyle's corner. So I just thought this was funny. So I got an email from Melon. You're a big Melon guy. You're wearing one every episode. How many Melons do you have now?
6 or 7.
Okay, you got a bunch of Melons.
About a 401k's worth.
And I have some. They're great hats. I also love the stack hats, by the way. We'll have to dive into those. But Melon, it's like really prevalent in the pickleball community.
It's becoming prevalent quickly.
I mean, Chris and Q are both big on it, and I have no idea how many hats they've sold without like getting like an affiliate commission.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris ends up getting an affiliate thing set up, and he got like those 30% discount codes that they run for like 24 hours.
Thanks, Chris.
you picked up a couple. My brother picked up a couple.
Yeah.
I know lots of people did. And anyway, so I get an email from Melon last week. They're like, hey, would you be interested in partnering with us to do like an affiliate program? And I was like, Melon is not just going to reach out to me like this. And so I messaged Chris. I was like, Chris, how well did your discount code go? And I was like, did you turn some eyes? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I turned some eyeballs. So like a week after, or like less than a week of Chris getting that affiliate code, running the 30%, I get an email from Melon asking if they want to partner. And so I know that they're like, oh, okay, pickleball's a thing. We're going to start investing some time and resources here. But
they probably Googled like top pickleball reviewers, and they're like, email to Q,
I'm sure. I didn't ask Q if he got an email, but I'm sure he did.
I applied several times. I get denied.
Oh, did you?
Well, so they reached out to you, but if you try to go through them, they have like a third-party service that does it called like Avant Link, where you have to like go into your social media, put a link, and they go check your social media. Obviously,
so
it's way too small for them to get past that level.
Yeah, and I don't consider myself that big of an influencer. Like when you look at the grand scheme of like content creators, like Pickleball Effect's pretty small. And they would never look at Pickleball Effect unless Chris did what he did.
I'm sure a lot of hats moved with that 30% code.
Yeah, he did. He turned eyes. But anyway, but I mean, Chris has like triple the followers and stuff, and he doesn't surprise me that happened. All right, Kyle's corner. What do we got?
So, Collin Johns.
It's the dramatic voice, dude. It's getting me here.
Grievances. So an email got leaked. Well, not necessarily an email, because he came out and said some other stuff about it. Originally, we thought it was an email about his list of grievances with MLP. A lot of them are just complaining about how MLP benefits the lesser players than the better players, complaining about the way the draft works and how his brother has to play with bad players, even though he's playing with his normal men's partner, which kind of bugs me that he like that was a weird argument. I'm like, that argument didn't make sense. Who you play with normally. So you can argue about the women, you're a jerk about it, but you're playing with your men's partner. So big long list of grievances about what he hates about MLP, basically why him and his brother are not putting forth effort, which infuriates me.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit in the last pod, how Ben and Collin, it was just like a big talk of them, yawning, not putting the effort, like the disinterest was obvious.
Yeah, it's like visible.
And then this came out like 2 days after?
Yeah. It might have been I think it was the day we released the podcast. So it would have been like the day after we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But Then Travis Rettmeyer responded. I loved his take on it. It was like basically saying, like, I don't care about your grievances. We're paid a lot of money to play pickleball. We should be thankful we're being paid to play pickleball. Show up and play. We are entertainers. If you are visibly you're not trying, you should be fined.
Yeah. And he pointed out that in tennis, if you are seen as not trying, you are fined. Like that's like that precedent's already there.
Well, and if like, and then he brought into gambling into it too. If there was gambling and we already had people that are like not trying, gambling can't be in the sport because that, I mean, you could just be paid to not try.
Whatever happened to gambling? Like it was like it happened, they were doing it and then it stopped.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard that a lot of people were just basically betting on Ben Johns. Like there's just not enough differences in like
everyone was just making bank off Ben.
Oh, I think the odds were so like I don't think you were actually making a lot of money, but I don't think it's there yet.
Okay. Yeah, because they were like trying to make a big deal of that. It didn't like happen, but then like it just I never heard anything else.
I know
like,
they made a big deal about it. And then
I wasn't sure if it stopped or if it.
I don't think it's still going on.
Like, I don't
gamble on that. I've never sports betted. So,
anyways, what's and then Zane came out.
And then Zane came out as well.
He made the statement, but he was more arguing the points themselves.
Yeah. He addressed each individual line item and basically why he loves MLP.
Yeah, he's always been a proponent of MLP.
Mm-hmm.
But what's your take on it? What are your thoughts on Collin's?
So I think Collin had some good arguments. Like there are some things that are not good about MLP. But overall, I go with Travis. Like you're being paid 7 figures probably, like total, to play pickleball. Like show up and play. Like regardless of the format.
Yeah, we had talked about last time how like they're at the heart of it. You know, they're entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to show up and play because people are paying money to come watch them. And then another thing that kind of irked me about them not putting in the effort was like the TV deals involved with that MLP in particular is like there was like FS1 was there, like some ESPN Plus, like it got some airtime and it was getting eyeballs. And to see, I think Travis also aired this or pointed this out, but like to see the #1 player in the world being so disinterested on like national television is not good for the growth of the sport.
Yeah.
And Travis is of the mind that like as the first players to come into the game, get money, get paid, it's your job to grow the sport more so than those who come down the line, 10 years from now or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this is a pivotal time in pro pickleball. You need to get the eyeballs, you need to get the growth, or it's not going to be around, right?
Yep.
And so I thought that was a good point, and I totally agreed with Travis on that. And yeah, putting grievances aside, like I don't think there's anything wrong with what he said. Like
no.
The fact that he has suggestions and doesn't like aspects of it is fine. Like send that to him. That's great. Like constructive feedback is there's nothing wrong with it. And it's fantastic. People love giving us feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like we use it, we learn from it, and we get better, right? And like, there's nothing wrong with that, even if it is like said, and a lot of people described it as like whiny, and whatever. But they can receive that, they can use that, they can make a better product, which is great. You want feedback because you're not going to get better otherwise. But the fact that they use that as excuses to not play their best,
that's the part that pisses me off. And the one line about the ladies on the team when it's all in caps, that kind of pissed me off.
Oh, what was that?
It was like they went 0 and 9, but like all in caps. So he's just like, yeah. And then he throws some shade at Anna Lee, saying that she's acting a fool in MLP. And we talked about it. We actually loved her in MLP. Like her energy was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it was actually it was exciting. But I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah, I don't know. I read through some of the comments online. Like there was chats about it all over the place. I think you were one of the first to kind of talk about it on some of the Facebook groups.
Yeah,
what were some of the comments.
Well, somebody in Discord posted it and was like, "Hey, has anybody talked about this?" I was like, "Be right back." Went and posted it in kitchen because I knew it'd get the fastest.
What were some of the responses you got?
A lot of people denying that Collin wrote it. Then a lot of people that were like very against it, and then. It was actually like, it was a wide range of reactions. Like some people were mad at Collin. Some people didn't believe it was Collin. Some people were like, oh, these are good points. And some people were like, you're being paid. Show up and play. Shut up.
Yeah, Collin got hit pretty hard, like from his like personal brand from this. I've only had I went to like the Yoli event. I've talked to Collin a few times. I've only had really positive interactions with Collin, and I actually I think he's really smart. I like the way he approaches the game, and I feel and like him airing these grievances like is I think it's fine. The fact that he did brought this up. I think it was unfortunate for him that it kind of came about the way it did. Like it was pitched as leaked, and that he was being like whiny, and reading is different from like how it's pitched in person.
Yeah.
And so you can read it in one way, even though he may not have meant it one way. And so like I feel bad for Collin because I do. He has kind of and like his on-court persona is a little whiny, and I think people like see that and then read it that way. But like I don't know, when I've met him in person, like he's really cool to talk to, really sharp, and so I feel bad for him and his like personal brand that got hit pretty hard. But I still think he's a good dude, and I think he got hit harder than he deserved.
I mean, even Travis, and Travis's response was like, "I love Collin. Collin's smart." This like he gave him a bunch of praise, and basically that's why he's like, "I don't care about his grievances. This is the only part I care about."
Yeah, and they're gonna learn from this. So I didn't actually watch any MLP. So there was another MLP this week. I was watching the Olympics.
I was MLP'd out. I didn't watch it either. It's like the first week I haven't watched MLP ever.
Yeah, I was watching like Lyles win the 100-meter dash and stuff.
And then did you see, now that we're talking about the Olympics, did you see the Turkish shooter?
Yeah. That was so funny.
That dude is 100% a hitman. He's seen some stuff.
That was so good.
Like,
yeah, that was definitely one of the best like memes that have come out of the Olympics.
So good. And then like showed him like next to, like there was one where it had like the Korean shooter versus him. And the Korean shooter had like all this crazy stuff on. And
right.
This, like
and
weird
a lot of them were like that way. They had like those funky glasses. Yeah, that was hilarious. That trumps the same meme that goes on for every Olympics with like, what if you were a lifeguard at the Olympics? Like that's been reused for like 20 years.
That would be boring.
This one.
Yeah, that was good.
This needs to be the new one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, the Olympics have been fun.
Back to the Collin email though. Did you see his response? He actually posted a response.
Oh, so Collin came back. Okay. I think I did see pieces of it, but film.
So he said that was not written. So basically that PDF, I don't know the truth to all this. He could be, trying to save face, whatever. But it was basically that was like compiled from texts to supposedly his ex-girlfriend. So that was actually not sent to MLP, that it was like a list of grievances via like text he'd sent. They got compiled. And
so he was trying to say, look, I didn't send this to MLP.
Like that it was more just like a conversation.
Exactly. So don't fault me.
Or just
I don't see how that saves face. And like to the point of the grievances, like I don't think there's a problem with that, right?
No, like he hated the lighting. I loved the lighting.
But he didn't mean for those to come out, obviously.
Yeah, the way they did.
But still,
I think he was mainly saying I did not send this 10-item list to MLP saying why MLP sucks.
Why I hate you. Why I hate that you're giving me $100,000 every year.
10 things I hate about you.
But money isn't everything, right? Like you want to be happy in your job, and you like people will leave jobs more often because of bosses than the money, right?
Oh yeah.
And like at a certain point when you're making enough money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so he's obviously at that point, and he wasn't thinking about the money. But I do think he needs to keep that in perspective. Like, okay, like pickleball is giving you so much. You didn't have this money before. And it's because of pickleball that you're getting that. But no fault in him for bringing those things up, trying to improve the environment. But if you haven't read the grievances, like go check them out, because some of them are good. Others you're just like the whole like team, like this favors or like hurts the better players.
Yeah.
I was like that one. I was like, what? I was like, any team sport, that's an element. You're gonna have your superstars, you're gonna have your supporting cast.
Yep.
And it's how you manage that relationship to make your team win, right?
Well, like that was fun. That was what was funny. It's like the argument about like the draft. It was like, do you watch any other sports? Like you can't just pick.
Right.
You don't just get the 4 best.
I'm
players.
the best player in the world, so I should get number 2, 3, and 4.
No, exactly. Because then you're gonna have a super team, and it's not even gonna be in a competition.
Right. But that's how Ben plays in all of his tournaments. He gets the number 2.
We'll see after he throws shade at Annalie if she's like, I don't want Bet as a partner. That'd be a shakeup.
I think the one tournament that I can remember, Annalie played with Newman at like nationals or something.
Yeah.
And then they won.
Oh, yeah.
They beat Ben. I don't know who his partner was. I can't remember. It was like Parento maybe.
I mean, you play mixed. I firmly believe that the female partner is a bigger deal than the male in mixed.
Assuming your male can cover ground and squash the middle, then yeah.
Like Annalie's a weapon. Like I feel like a lot of guys that played with Annalie could probably win.
Probably. Anything else in Kyle's corner?
I don't know. Let me look. Oh yeah, Parris Todd ditches Selkirk. Bye Selkirk.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Who's she with?
You don't know?
Mm-mm.
Ooh, this is good. Take a guess.
Well, I mean, I saw it in the notes.
Oh, because I did put it in the notes. You already know.
But I didn't know. But I didn't know until I read it an hour ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was trying to like give you the benefit of the doubt here. Like you're bringing me some news here.
Oh yeah, she went to Franklin.
I'm playing the game here.
she went to Franklin. I should have just said
Franklin.
I should have just said Parris Todd leaves Selkirk and left it blank.
Yeah, you could do that in the short.
Okay.
That's okay. That's surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was so funny. We were like when we heard because she made a post about leaving Selkirk before we saw her with the Franklin. So we're all like taking guesses and like, oh, carbon. That way her and Viv are on the same paddle. We're like, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Brands love doing that. Like
and then everybody's like the Aloe or Alo. I don't know. Whatever that clothing brand.
like they make
Alo. Like, oh, maybe they're making paddles.
Which has happened with other brands like Take Ya.
Yeah, like the water bottles. Like,
and now,
Lotto.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, have you got a Lotto paddle yet?
No.
Okay. We should probably grab one. I actually heard that the ultimate, like the nicest one's decent.
Is it? Okay.
But yeah, so she goes to Franklin. So now Franklin's got the Fudge and Ryler, her,
the
Johnson's, Hayden. So Franklin's got a pretty big team.
They got Howells too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got Howells recently. So yeah, so Franklin's making a big play.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. What do you want paddle she's using?
I didn't see because I didn't watch MLP. I mean, I would guess she's using a Dynasty. Like the newest one.
Let's see here. Yeah, she's always using an elongated shape because she's always played like the Invictas. So probably
like a Dynasty, probably
like the Dynasty 14,
I guess. But that was it for I think those shakeups. A lot of people leaving Selkirk.
Was there others?
No, I just mean in general.
Like I mean, Tyson left. Who else?
She had like Tyson, Parris, Pablo.
I guess they still have Sock. I mean, as long as they hold on to their big ones, they're fine. Right? The mid range can shift.
Yeah, they'll shift. Susanna resigned. That just got posted.
Oh, nice, good for her.
So I made a comment. I'm like, is she finally going to get her own color? We'll see.
All right, let's go over to Paddle Babble and our budget paddle testing. So this section is brought to you by Kitchen Bags,
the best bags in pickleball.
Let's pull it out. So yeah. Look at us, dude, just sponsoring out the wazoo. This was an easy one just because like
we love these bags.
And I've been using this bag here for the last 2-3 months and it just gets better as it breaks in. But they're like the first brand to really do it right.
Yeah.
Go out there, make a pickleball bag that was designed for pickleball players, super high quality,
durable.
It's
flat, which is a big deal to me.
Yeah,
I hate stuff that doesn't
backpack.
flat.
As far as like a daily driver goes, nothing beats it.
No, I've fit 8 paddles in it before.
Yeah, we're the only ones that need to carry 8 paddles.
But typically I'll have like 2 paddles, my laptop, like stuff like that. You could fit all the necessary stuff.
And you fit the laptop in there. So. And everything just organized really well.
I see some PE grips in there.
Got some PE grips in there? Ooh. Yeah, I put those on my paddles and I store them in my bag. But yeah, thanks for them for sponsoring the Paddle Babble section. If you guys have not seen or checked these out, links in the description. Go look them up because they're dope.
They got a new shipment in. They got a new color in. They've got the sling coming too, which I got that in my car. I need to send that back.
The sling? Oh, he's just letting you like.
Yeah, I've got the prototype.
Oh. All right, dude. This was such a fun one with the budget paddle test. So
I was blown away.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read off the paddles that we hit.
Okay.
So what we hit for like what, an hour and a half?
Probably an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, we played skinny singles, dinking,
kind of did it all.
Everything.
So we gave each paddle like an appropriate amount of time. But yeah, I'm just going to read them all, like read off what paddles we have or tested. And before everyone complains that, oh, you didn't include this paddle, we did our best. Okay. I just went and grabbed the ones they had.
We had like a dozen.
I was actually surprised how many I had.
We had like a dozen.
I was like going through my closet and stuff. And I was like, oh, I was like, wow, okay, there's a lot of $100 paddles.
Yeah. And this $120 and under was like
That was the criteria.
Yeah. $120 or under.
All right. So we had a couple of gearboxes. The Spin DNA. This was a Kyle one that he found. The Friday paddles. We had the 11-6-24 Jelly Bean. We had Revelin? How do you say their name?
Rev.
The Rev?
Rev out of Utah.
Tyler
Wren. Yeah.
The Rev Pro. We had a couple Hoot Fs. We had Neonic. We had the Spartus.
The Apollo?
The Apollo just is in all of our tests.
I know. It has been in every, somehow the Apollo has been in every.
Yeah, because we did the wide body and then we did Kevlar and it's both of those. Yeah, and now I think it's 117 after code. We had, what was the other one? We had the Quartz from 6.0, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
And then a Rhombus. So Rhombus has some around $100 after discount. So those are the paddles we played with. I put down some questions that we'll go through and we'll just talk about. So first one, just general thoughts of the experiment, general impressions. Go for it.
From when I started playing pickleball to now, what you get for your money has increased significantly, like insane.
Yeah. $100 paddle today is not what a $100 paddle was 2 years ago.
No, not at all. So I was extremely impressed with what you can get on a budget if you are looking.
Yeah. I had the same thought. And then in addition to that, I was like, the brands, like it's the medium, smaller size brands that make really good budget friendly paddles. Cause we had like some Selkirks, the facility we played at the Flying Pickle. It's like a Selkirk facility. So they had, their $70
like the
Nexus.
Like Nexus, the like Latitude.
I mean, so they're like $70, $80. They didn't have their $100 ones, unfortunately, so we didn't demo those, but we demoed like their $70 ones. But I've demoed their 100. I've demoed Yola's. I've demoed other like big company $100 budget paddles, and those paddles pale in comparison to these smaller brands when it comes to this budget friendly zone, which makes a lot of sense, right? Like if you're Selkirk, for example, you have these 200 plus paddles that play great, right? But if you have a $100 paddle that plays really well, it's going to cannibalize your sales of your more expensive and you lose money. So they're incentivized to make their $100 paddles not as good.
Make it a bigger difference.
Yeah, a bigger difference of like quality. And whereas these like medium to smaller size brands, like their whole thing is going to market with a quality $100, $120 paddle. And in a lot of cases, they're just as good as the $180, $200 paddles.
And we've seen some brands that actually like their first paddle is that budget brand. And then they get that market share. Then they grow from there. Yeah. Then they come out with the more expensive paddle down the line.
Yeah. Okay. So like after our test too, I went to Dick's and I took a picture of the wall of paddles they sell.
Those were terrible.
And the majority of the paddles at Dick's are like this range that we're talking about. It's the $100, $120 range. It had like Head, Onyx,
Z5.
Like it had these like big name paddles, brands, but all of the paddles, like none of them use raw carbon fiber. They're all like, I've hit the cheap Heads. I've hit the cheap Babblettes and things, and they're just not that great.
Yeah.
Especially compared to these. And so it is funny that, or I guess not funny, but like if you're on the hunt for a budget friendly paddle, don't go to the big brands. No. You definitely benefit more by going with one of these smaller companies. And so that was like a big takeaway for me there. And I wonder if it's like that in other industries. I don't know other industries as well as I know pickleball, but I bet it's the same. But where if you go off brand for like a budget friendly price,
you get more
bang for your buck.
Exactly.
And a lot of the times, I don't think these paddles really give up much. And when you're comparing them to more expensive paddles, in some cases you kind of give up like warranty and some of those things. Cause like, I keep bringing up Selkirk, but like they have that,
no questions. As long as it's Selkirk, not SLK. Selkirk.
Yeah. And so there are benefits to that if you go with the bigger brands. And I guess another I'm thinking of like cons of going for like a budget paddle versus like a more expensive one. I think there's in most cases less options, right? Like you'll have just one paddle type that's $100. You don't have multiple variations. You don't have different types. And so you're kind of restricted to like what's available in that space. Whereas, as you go up in price, there's more variety.
Yep. You can get like different handle sizes, just more specific to you.
Yeah, you can get a little more custom there. And so that's just another thing I kind of thought of like, but if there is like a budget paddle that like fits the way you play, in a lot of cases, like
no, every paddle
is the way to go.
Every paddle in here, I would have no problem. One, I would have no problem playing legitimately with it, but like, or recommending it to somebody, like buy this for your first paddle.
Yeah, totally.
Like, until you decide what brand you like love.
Yeah.
Any one of these will get you as far as you want to go.
Yeah, 100%. And so I thought that was, anyway, those are good takeaways just from doing it. Okay. First question, best overall value. What paddle would you give it to?
This blows my mind because I always thought these guys were just funny on Instagram. Like, I think the biggest bang for your buck was honestly the 2 for $100 Fridays.
No, I
don't know if you agree, but I was like, that was so surprising to me because I always just thought they were funny on Instagram.
No, I was very surprised too. So I had these guys, I'd heard about them, right? Like we've seen them everywhere. Tyler is a local player.
I played last night with him. I'm like, he's a 5-0 guy and he's playing with a Friday. And I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. So you can get these. And if you're interested in any of these paddles, we'll have links. If we have codes, we don't have codes for all of them, but if we have codes, we'll put that in the description. But yeah, this one actually played pretty good.
I mean,
it's a hybrid,
it looks
5.5-inch handle.
I'm not a fan of the graphics,
but they have a ton of different graphics.
Okay.
That's kind of part
like
of
this
their
to
play,
me.
right?
This looks fine.
They have like 10 different colors.
Okay,
but yeah, it was kind of like an all-court style paddle. It felt stable. It had like a semi-unique feel to it.
It played good,
and like it felt crisp. It felt good. Like it was just a really solid all-around paddle. One hang-up is its paint grip.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so if you feel Tyler's, it's smooth.
His is probably super smooth.
So that's the only drawback to the Friday. But as far as like bang for your buck, least expensive paddle, I mean, you can buy one by itself for like $60-$70. But if you do that 2 for $100, go on it with a friend.
Well, then you buy 2 for yourself. You play those out, and then by that time you've been playing enough pickleball. Then you're like, hey, I want to try. Like by then you know a little bit more about the industry, and you find a brand you want.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. I think best bang for your buck, best value Friday, I think wins it.
I feel weird saying that.
It is, but they have another one that costs like $80. They're raw carbon. We both hit it. I actually like the way this one played better.
I did too.
Than their more.
So that other one was raw carbon?
The other one is raw carbon.
Yeah, this one was better.
This one actually, so I've actually ran the spin numbers on these. This one with the paint grit out of the box actually spins better than their raw carbon, but I suspect that this one will wear out quicker than their raw carbon. But anyways, that one was surprising.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Their social media is hilarious though. I do love their social media.
They are pretty funny. Their YouTube channel is great. All right. Best control paddle.
Oh man. I'm going to have to say the Jelly Bean.
You like the Jelly Bean for the control?
Mm-hmm. Let me look. What do we got?
Do I have the Jelly Bean in here?
You do have the Jelly Bean in there.
There's the Jelly Bean.
Yeah, I liked the Jelly Bean. I just thought it was very forgiving. Again, I'm becoming a big fan of these wide bodies. What did you have for the best control?
Dude, there it is.
Oh, that was a good one too.
So
I'm torn. I don't know. I still like the Jelly Bean a little more. Mainly shape-wise, probably.
This one is a little more forgiving side to side, right?
Yeah.
They both are $90 with code, like insanely cheap. They both played very good.
They do.
This one, I think, is more control-oriented than the Jelly Bean. The Jelly Bean it actually has like a little jump to it.
Yeah, if you're going strict control, the Vatic is. I just think this was a little more forgiving, which I always equate forgiving with control.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if somebody's looking for sole control, that means in my head, I'm like, they probably aren't hitting the sweet spot every time. But
yeah, no, yeah, I
not saying that's not forgiving. That's actually a very forgiving paddle too.
Yeah, and the thing I like about the Prisms in particular at this price point is like they actually have options. Mm-hmm. Like they have an elongated shape, they have the hybrid, and then they have like 2 handle lengths.
Oh, wow.
And then they have a thickness, like a 16 millimeter and a 14.
Oh, geez.
So they have a lot of options, which is one thing like I mentioned earlier, you just don't see at this price point, but they have that. They're like the only brand where you can actually go kind of customize.
They have colorways too, right?
They'll do like random.
Because you have one that has a different face, right? Like a different like.
Yeah, it was like a special edition. So they'll do like
Okay.
special editions, but they don't. This is just like the
Got it.
standard, like always on. But yeah, no, this one, yeah, if you're looking for like a pure control, you can't like. I could still go out and play super well with these. Like I've always been a fan for these. They've been around for a year and a half. They've kind of dominated this $90 space for a bit, and I think it's going to stay that way for a minute.
They do good in the pro shop as well.
Yeah,
it's a very easy paddle to get somebody to jump on. It shows up with like a Walmart paddle.
Yeah, both of these, and I think if you're like picking between the two, might come down more to like just shape preference.
Yeah.
Like if you want a wide body, go with the Jelly Bean. If you want a hybrid or elongated, I think Vatic.
That makes sense.
So those are our favorite control paddles, both spin well, both raw carbon fiber. These aren't thermoformed, but they have the foam injection. So it's kind of like that 1.5 gen. And so like the tech is there. The Friday's thermoformed. I forgot to mention that. It's thermoformed, has the foam injection. Like it has the latest and greatest like technology. And, but like we had talked about last time, how sometimes to get a cheaper paddle, you have to make adjustments in certain areas, whether it's like the number of layers, the type of layer. There are things you can do to make the paddle a little cheaper. But for the most part, like there's still like it felt high quality. Like if you were to tell me what these cost, I go compare them to.
Yeah. No, if I hit these with my eyes closed, there's no way I'd be able to be like, this is a budget paddle.
Yeah, but like
I hit a lot of paddles.
If I go hit like the Selkirk budget ones, it's like, yeah.
That Nexus paddle was the worst paddle I've ever hit in my life. Sorry, Selkirk.
I think they're on sale. They're on sale right now for $60. I don't know if they're coming out with new ones because I looked it up before we started.
Those
but
are $60.
They're normally $70. Yeah. Wow. Okay. What was your favorite power or best power paddle out of touch?
Power. Oh man, I don't even know if I'd classify any of these budget paddles as like straight power. That's tough.
Yeah,
it would have to be the G2 if we're gonna say power. This thing slapped the hardest by far.
Yeah, it surprised me how hard it hit.
Yeah.
The power space is kind of a funny one. Like within the budget category, you don't see very many kind of higher all court power paddles. I wonder if it's just because I don't know if those cost more to make or if there's more recent innovation around it. So it's not like widespread across all the factories. Because like this technology has been around a bit. Yes, it's still like the latest and greatest, but it's technology that's like available everywhere. Whereas like the technology, like the stuff that Gearbox is using, the stuff that Yola is using, and anyways, like that type of tech, I don't think is like widespread in the factory. So you can't get it super cheaper from everywhere yet.
Not yet.
Which is why I think those paddles, if you want like a bigger power, you do have to spend more money. But for the budget space, I think this one hit the hardest.
This thing slapped. I almost forgot that was in the bag.
Yeah, it was pretty poppy. You could definitely feel it hit harder than everything else. But it's super thin. It's 11 millimeters. Luckily, it's in like their quad shape, which is like shorter and wider. So it's a little more forgiving than you'd guess for 11, but it's not like this oversized sweet spot.
No, this is one, like if you're on a budget looking for a singles paddle and you are like, I would play with this. But like if you're on a budget because you're new to pickleball, I would push you towards these. I wouldn't push somebody new to pickleball towards this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because people newer to the space, right? Like they need help with the control. They need the forgiveness. These offer that. This requires a little more skill, which is kind of tough. But there are people who need help generating power, right? Like they just can't generate their own power for whatever reason, or maybe they play in a super hot climate and they don't want to spend over $100. I think this is a good option. Yeah,
you got. If I compared this, even like thickness wise, we're looking at like a Power Air.
Pretty similar.
$100 cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
more than $100 cheaper.
This isn't a raw carbon, but
is it also paint grit?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it is.
That is. Yeah.
I guess you could describe it as like a paint grit, but yeah, that one's not raw carbon where like the Vatic, the Monarch is, the Friday does have the paint.
It was a good one though. I'd actually never hit the G2.
Me neither. I've actually had it for a bit. I haven't hit it yet.
Good job, Gearbox.
Yeah. Okay. Best power paddle is that one. Okay. What was like the biggest disappointment?
Oh man, we're gonna catch some heat because I think we agree on this one. Honestly, I think it's the quartz.
The quartz? Let's pull it out.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the quartz?
Well, it's funny. We've actually had a lot of talk about this on the Discord, and like maybe I'm looking at this paddle the wrong way. Like it looks very nice. In a retail space, this is going to do well and it'd be good for a beginner. To me, the price for performance is not anywhere near like what some of these are. I had to hit the ball too hard. I didn't like it. I had to put
super light. It's like a 106, 108 swing weight. Like it's under 110.
So, and again, we talked about this a little bit. Like the person buying this paddle is probably not going to weight it up and do all that like stuff to it. Cause like, I'm sure I could weight this up and make it an awesome feeling paddle. But like we hit all these stock to me. This was just not enough.
It wasn't enough. And it, like when you compare the sweet spot to this, to like the Prism Flash and the Monarch,
it was a little smaller.
It's a little smaller. Yeah. And I think that's because it's 15 millimeters. So it's a little thinner and it does not have the foam ejection. It's just the classic Gen 1 style paddle. Mm-hmm. And so you do feel it twist a little bit. You can feel it vibrate just a touch more in these. Like I wouldn't say it has like a small sweet spot or anything.
No.
But if we're just like purely looking at performance, I mean, I would take the Monarch or the Prism over the Quartz. But like you said, I think the Quartz, I guess, serves its purpose, right? Like if you're truly a beginner, you want a control paddle, you want something that feels comfortable, this will do that. And I like, if we're being real, whether they have this or like a Prism, if you're a true beginner, may not make a big difference.
No.
However, as you get better and your game improves, I do think you're going to get more from the Prism. These will take you further.
Exactly. That's what
than the Quartz. Is the Quartz inherently a bad paddle? No. Is it going to sell? Yes.
I think so. It looks great.
It looks great. They have a lot of color options, but I was a little disappointed performance-wise because like the reviewer in me puts a premium on performance.
Exactly.
And I liked how these played.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we were talking about. Like, I don't know if this was even designed for us.
No, it's not.
So
it's not designed for us.
That's like a tough one to review because it's like you design this, like it looks great on a shelf at Dick's. You've heard of 6-0, which is like a cool brand. This is probably going to sell extremely well.
If you put this on the shelf at Dick's with what I saw there 2 days ago, I would take this over any of the other $100 paddles.
So I don't know if that's the play. And if that's the play, great job.
Yep. And you know, that's actually a great point because if like I would call 6-0 one of the bigger brands now.
Yeah,
they're there.
Now they are, yeah.
Now they are. And when you compare this $80 to $100 paddle to Head, Selkirk, Yola, like if you compare it to the other, you know, Engage, if you compare it to those guys, I think this is the best $80, $90 paddle that you can find. But when you look at a little bit further at these brands, I think these are
more
better.
Niche brands. Yeah.
So I think it's a fair assessment.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to flame them too hard because it's a pretty paddle. I think we're looking at it from how we play versus what it's aimed at.
No, yeah, 100%. I think that's the right perspective. And like, if I feel confident recommending this to like a true beginner.
Oh yeah.
But I would not recommend this to an advanced player.
Yeah.
However, these, I still think if it fits your style of paddle that you want, if you're an advanced player, you're not going to lose anything with like the Monarch and the Prism, right?
Like the Monarch, I could play 5-0 Moneyball all day with.
Yeah.
This I couldn't. I don't get enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even on like the control scale, it's like toned down even more, and it requires a lot of effort to get some juice behind it. I thought the 15 millimeter was going to give me a little more, but it just didn't.
Pretty soft. I mean, it's pretty soft.
Very soft, very comfortable feel. I think it's the type of carbon fiber combined with just the cold press just gives it
the 3K carbon, right? I think so.
No, T300 is what it is.
Okay.
Instead of like the typical
T700.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one was a bit of a bummer. Another one that was a bummer to me was the Mage Pro from Hudef.
Yeah. Not
like this one.
Was not my favorite.
I seen reviews of this one online. They're all like pretty positive about it. So I was like, oh, this could be a really solid $100 paddle, but like the handle's like skinny and blocky. You can tell it's not as forgiving as the Prism Flash, although it feels similar at impact to the Prism Flash. The Prism Flash, I thought is superior just performance and stability.
I would say stable, way more stable.
Yeah, and then the handle, whatever. I mean, it doesn't feel good. So that was a little bit of a bummer. I mean,
could probably use this on my son's like Lego kit.
Yeah.
It's like a straight square.
Yeah, it's pretty square.
That's interesting.
But it does have the raw carbon fiber face. It spins well, which is, like I would take this over like a Selkirk $100 paddle, but that one was a little bit of a disappointment. I was expecting a little more from that one. And then like there's several just kind of, not bad. Okay ones. Like I thought the rhombus one.
That one wasn't bad.
This one wasn't bad.
It just was like, this one wasn't bad. I could play fine with it. It just wasn't anything that was like.
Yeah, I didn't like particularly like stand out. Again,
if you like rhombus, but again, they're kind of a smaller company. So I don't see a newbie being like, I want a rhombus. Like,
yeah, I mean, all of these are kind of that way, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to do some digging to find these, which is what's tough for these brands. Like if I'm newer to the sport, I only see the big names.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are going to land on the courts. But those who like are willing to do the research, dig in, they'll find that there's a bunch of really good $100 paddles. Like this one, yeah, that one's bad. Like nothing wrong playing with that one. Maybe if you like the elongated, but like Vatic, the Prism has the 1.5. That one's just like a classic cold press. Like I think I'd still take the Prism over it.
I will say the good thing about all these great budget paddles now is they did terrible with this name, because now you're not going to see a bunch of people walking out there with Monarchs, the brand, not the paddle.
Wait, I don't understand.
Well, like at the park, you get these people that buy these like super cheap Monarch paddles, the brand. Not
I see what you're
so
saying.
there's so many good options now that we'll see less of that.
Yeah. There's no reason to go get any of those. Like there's a lot of really good paddles.
Like the aluminum, like you said, the aluminum
Franklin. Yeah. Like you go to Walmart, you can get aluminum Franklin for like $30-$40. It's like, go get Friday.
Exactly.
If you don't want to spend, it is so worth spending the extra $10-$20 for a Friday over the $50 options you're going to see at Walmart.
Yep. I can't even say
it's
that.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. So some other ones we tested. All right. There's the Apollo again. Where do you put the Apollo?
One of the most forgiving paddles.
Yeah.
Again, super forgiving. Reset's great. Lacks power. I mean, I would put it. The only reason I put it like lower than the Monarch is because that Monarch is just as forgiving, but has the juice behind it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there are some people, maybe they want the pure control.
Yeah.
If you want like a pure control paddle in the wide body shape, I would take this over the Jelly Bean.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If you like the idea of the prisms, the prism flashes.
And if you're dead set on Kevlar.
Or if you're dead set on Kevlar, like this is a good, like there was nothing wrong with this one. This is an easy recommendation at 117. Yeah. If you like this, if you want this shape, this, like no one else has a pure control paddle in the wide body other than this one. So like it fills a need there. It's a viable option.
I have their new paddle coming today.
The Olympus. I don't actually know anything about it other than I've seen a few comments. Like Chris said in his email he was interested.
So I have heard it hits just as hard as a Gen 3.
Is it like a foam style paddle?
I don't know what's in the core.
You don't know?
I'll have to ask Josh, but I guess it hits just as hard, but has way more control.
You got those coming, right?
I have one coming today. It's out for delivery right now.
They sent 2, right?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Oh, I don't want to share with you.
Don't send him one, Josh.
I thought you were getting
Somebody
2.
sent me. No, well, they're sending me 2. I got 2 Yolas coming too. I got 2 Yolas. I got 2, I think flares are coming.
Okay.
But I think I just got 1 Olympus.
Oh,
I'm sure Josh will send you an Olympus.
I'll message Josh. I thought he was sending you 2, so I didn't message him.
Well, I actually got it through. Josh didn't even talk to me.
You got it through somewhere else?
Somebody else was like, hey, you want an Olympus? I was like,
absolutely. All right, Josh, if you're listening, send me an Olympus. I want to try that one.
It looks great. Like,
do you know what the price is going to be for that one?
I don't know enough. I need to do some digging. I've just heard
I bet that one's a little more premium though, because I think it, again, like we said earlier, it's got like that new tech in it. It's going to cost a little more.
So,
let's see here. We tried this guy. It's a 14 millimeter thermo, really cheap. It's fine.
Yeah, not bad. And this one, they got good distribution. They're in Walmart. So like
if you're in Walmart, buy this one.
Exactly. If you shop at Walmart, you probably don't watch our podcast if you're shopping for pickleball paddles at Walmart.
But if you are,
yeah, great one.
Yeah. Again, like it was fine. Like a little tighter sweet spot with the 14. I think for someone who's coming in the space, maybe I think they're going to benefit more from the 16. But it gives you like a little more juice over like the prisms, and so like it's probably one of the better kind of all court options you're going to find.
Yeah, and it's got a nice color.
Yeah, I think they got a bunch of colors, don't they?
I think they just have the black and the blue. And I think we got one more in here, the Spin DNA.
Oh, I forgot about this guy.
Yeah, this was the surprising one.
This was another. Yeah, tell us about this one. You found these guys. I had never heard of them.
Well, so he is. I don't know his real name, but the Spin DNA guy is in Discord. He's been telling us like, I'm going to make all these great paddles, and they're all going to be under $100. I'm going to do it better. So this is Kevlar.
Oh,
It's a Kevlar weave. Yeah. I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's black. Like I would have guessed it was carbon.
I thought it was just regular carbon too, but great spin, good control.
You said it's like $50 or something?
Well, he had a deal going on. So I think it's like $90 normally.
Okay.
I have a code. But I think he was running a deal in Discord for like $50 for Discord members. I'm like, at $50, that's a steal. Like, I would have no
even
problem.
90 is pretty solid.
Yeah, but at $50, I'm like, might want to give them to your friends.
This is the only hybrid all court style paddle in like the paddles we test.
Yeah.
Like these other ones are more control oriented. This is the only hybrid style that's super popular at 16 millimeters. It's not like a plush fill. It's crisp. It's kind of light at impact. It's not like stiff. It's like this light crispy feel.
It reminded me of the Loco. And I think that's because it was light and it was crisp.
Like, Loco's not crisp.
Well, I mean,
you haven't hit a Loco in a minute. They're soft.
I haven't hit a Loco.
They're soft. But yeah, it kind of has some of those similar characteristics, although I think this gives you a little more offense than the Loco.
Is the Loco soft? Man, I got to hit the Loco again.
Soft.
I got to go back.
Yeah,
I got it again.
Yeah, it's pretty soft.
I've hit about 100 paddles since I played my Loco.
So I tried to find their website because I knew we were going to talk about this. I couldn't even find it. Like I Googled it. I was like spin DNA paddle and like nothing was popping up.
I'll send you the link. I don't know if he's
like they have a website. Like you can go buy it.
I think it's just like a Shopify. Like, I don't know. It almost looks like eBay.
Is it like sketchy?
It's a little sketchy.
So if you're not afraid of a slightly sketchy website, the DNA is probably, it is your only like hybrid all core option. And it actually played pretty good.
I was surprised. Had good spin. It felt good.
Yeah. Others, let's see here.
The J2.
I guess this is another hybrid option that was cheaper. I think I like the spin DNA more than this one.
I think I did. I mean, I love the J2K.
I like the J2K a lot.
But yeah, I think I would have taken the spin DNA over the J2.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is just no one's like, nothing really stood out to me. I think this might be a touch more forgiving.
Yeah. And all you crybabies about the stuff up here that's not on here.
So this is a funny thing that happened this week. Okay. It has a Bible verse on it, right?
In black on a black paddle.
And I got an email from like a promo email from Melon.
Okay.
Guess what's on the Melon hat?
Is there a Bible verse?
There's a Bible verse.
Oh, there's gonna be some people out there that like burn their Melon hats.
All those Bible verse people complaining about that. Now you got like Melon's huge.
I know these guys are gonna go burn their closet.
So I thought it was funny to see like a Bible verse on like this. I mean, I obviously have no issues with it. I think it's fine. Even if, I don't know, like if you don't like that stuff.
Well, somebody was like, the paddle's great. Just take a Sharpie. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Boop, there you go.
I don't know. But yeah. Okay. Others. Let's see here. This is the Neonic.
Force?
Neonic Force.
Yeah.
So this one's elongated 16 mil. It's also thermoformed. This again, like this is another good option at the $100 price range.
I liked it. That was my first Neonic.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. It's a little lighter for an elongated shape, which is nice. It's like a 116, 117 swing weight, so it moves pretty easy for an elongated. The spin is like a little less compared to other raw carbons, but otherwise plays like a thermoform paddle. It has a little pop at the net, a little weaker power in the back, but this is like another super solid option, and like it's just crazy how many good.
I know. So we have a mountain of paddles.
Like we said, like those first handful like were our favorites, but like. Spin DNA, the Neonic.
No, you have nothing in here that I hate.
There's nothing in here where I would be like,
you didn't bring the Selkirk Nexus, right?
No, that was the.
Oh, that was the clubs. Okay.
The clubs.
That was the only one I did disliked.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, dude, I was impressed by a lot of these. Friday was the surprise. A lot, and I guess now I'm saying like I said earlier, like, there's not as many options. I guess I could say that in a better way. Like there's not as many options for one brand. Like Neonic has this one shape at $100. Even they don't have like a 14 or a hybrid of this paddle.
Yeah.
But if you combine all these together, you have a lot of options.
Oh, tons of, yeah.
Like you have the elongated, you have a hybrid, you have the standard, you have the wide body. It's just spread out because every brand does it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you go to the bigger brands, they have all these options on their website at the more expensive price, right? So if you're hunting for a budget-friendly paddle that plays really well, you just have to do more work to go find one from a smaller brand that's legit. But like it can be kind of scary sometimes at that range because there are a lot of crappy $100 paddles, but there's also a lot of good ones. So you have to be more savvy and kind of know what you're looking for. But if you know what you're looking for, you can find the specs you want somewhere.
Did you compile a list for your website of like budget paddles?
I'm going to actually. I'm gonna add like my favorite budget paddles to my hot list. I'm gonna
Nice.
make that new section, and this is gonna be kind of the Kickstarter for that project. But yeah, dude, I think that's it, dude. Like if you're looking for a high performing paddle at this range, you just have to do a little hunting, but you can find
There's
one.
a lot of options.
And these are just as good as anything else you can find out there.
Like three years ago,
I don't even care what the price is.
3 years ago, you could get, there was no paddles this good at this price.
Yeah, no, not even close. But like, I guess the last question is like, I don't know, like, do you even go for a more expensive paddle? Is it even worth it?
It depends on the person. I think if you're just getting started, absolutely not. Like me, I have like, there's brands I like for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And like some people want the new tech in that. Like obviously you're going to have to pay for that.
Yep.
But if you just want a good paddle and don't want to break the budget, there's no need.
Yeah.
You don't need to go buy it. You don't need to go buy a PPE.
There's also like the like brand affinity aspect that you mentioned that I think is a good point. Cause if I walk onto the court with say like a Neonic or like a Rev or a Spin DNA, right? Like there's a perception that goes with that, whether you like it or not, or even care about it. Like people aren't going to think you're as good. Like I was talking to Tyler with the Friday.
Yeah. He
He said he was sitting down at TFP and some random person was like, "Hey, you want to play singles?" And they started playing. The guy's like, "What? I did not expect you to be so good," because he just whooped him. Like he's a 5-0 player, right? And so
with a Friday paddle.
And so like there's like a perception.
Oh, 100%.
That like if you want, I don't know, like you want to feel good, you want to feel confident on the court, and you don't get that as much with these smaller brands that don't have that reputation as much as those bigger brands. Like that's a factor.
Yeah.
Like you're definitely paying for that when you go more expensive. And so depending on, you know, who you are, maybe you care about that, maybe you don't, like that's a factor. And like, that's definitely a reason some of these bigger brands sell paddles. It's just because of that factor alone.
Yeah. No, and like I like that you say that. Like, if you come on the court with like a Z5, I'm not expecting you to be any good. Like, I know that's rude.
Maybe that's to your advantage.
No, exactly. It's like a sleep.
Take it easy on you, then you just go squash them.
I say that, and then we've had guys that had like pro lights that were like ancient and were still good.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a really fun one, man. I enjoyed this one. I was really impressed by a lot of these, and like, yeah, the options are there.
I think, I know this is controversial, but I think Selkirk should have aligned their new amped control with some of these paddles, and then they would have had a winner.
I think so.
Like, I think $160 for that paddle is insane. Like, after playing these.
Selkirk has a new Halo coming out, though.
Okay.
Did I say about that?
The Halo, is that the Kevlar one?
Actually,
you're like, am I allowed to talk about this?
I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it. Anyways, they have a new Halo in the works.
Is it going to be?
I haven't had it yet.
Do you know price? Do you know price range?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
But I assume it'll be similar to the others.
Okay.
But
so it might be
their original Halos, like they're $140. Like I thought they're fine. They were fine.
Yeah.
And definitely better than their $100 paddles. And I don't know, like I didn't really see a reason to go with like the Vanguard controls over the Halos unless you wanted like
the warranty. I think that's the main difference.
Is that the main difference between those?
Yeah, and that just popped in my head thinking about the $160 amped control because like you're paying for that lifetime warranty.
That's how they kind of differentiate.
I think so because I don't think any of these have a lifetime warranty. So I guess
you can customize their controls a little more. Like they have more shapes, and you can pick like weights and grip sizes. Like you can do that you can't do with the Halos.
Yeah,
and like the grip is a little more premium and like things like that. But no, like their Halo series is pretty solid.
I like the Halo. I actually like I've played with the Halo Max or whatever. It was fine.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all.
I sell more of the Vanguard controls though, just because of the warranty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another factor, right? Like you have to go when you are shopping for these. I didn't do my research on the warranties, so I can't like say, okay, this one has a really solid warranty, this one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Do your homework there when you're looking through these. Like look at the return policy, look at the warranties, make sure it's decent. Because that stuff is probably very different than
and at that rate, like that price range, you might have some stuff pop up.
And like a Selkirk, you can return a paddle in 30 days without any repercussions, right? Like you can get refunded. I would guess that all of these, or most of them anyways, have only can return if it's unused, which is a factor. So like they don't have like the demo, and it makes sense, right? Like they're selling these for cheaper. They're not making as much money, even though the quality is very similar, if not the same. And, you know, you have to cut into it and be like, okay, they used, you know, one less facing layer or something that makes that a little cheaper. Like they have to do, in most cases, they have to kind of cut back a little bit somewhere, but it's not much. There's not much difference. Like playing these are great. So anyways, pay attention to those things when you're shopping. But yeah, that'll finish it up for us.
Is that all we got? Nothing else? What are we on time wise? We did good. We did good.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching, and hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if there's a budget paddle we need to try. Maybe we missed one.
I'm sure we missed a few. People will let us know. Okay. And if you have any suggestions for what we should do on the 50th episode, I want to see some suggestions.
Yeah, we
keep them like PG-13.
But you're allowed to go up to PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13. Yeah. That's how high you can go with your suggestions.
All right. Thanks everyone. We'll see you later.
Later.